Hands down, the biggest giveaway that 2020 has been a strange year is that there is optimism and hope coming from the New York Knicks organization. Obi Toppin seems to be a solid draft pick. As long as Mitchell Robinson doesn't foul out, he looks to improve on his record-breaking last season. RJ Barrett has closed the preseason strong and is out for the blood of all of his enemies after last year's rookie team snub. Lakey, he's still doing the fashion thing, one of the best-dressed players in the league. Tom Thibodeau, who used to rock a sweet mullet, has breathed life in the organization. Kevin Knox, yes, I did just say Kevin Knox, has played well this preseason and looks to kick out like The Undertaker on what has been a terrible start to his NBA career so far. Julius Randle and James Dolan are both thrilled out of their mind that COVID has prevented fans from being in the stadium, meaning that there won't be any drunks at the Garden screaming at them to get the hell away from their team. Now, I have not yet mentioned a man who Knicks fans at this moment are the most optimistic about, certainly in the last couple days. A man who had 22 points in his first start in the preseason against the Cavaliers, and a man who, if he keeps up at this pace, might just move Elfrid Payton to the bench. That is, of course, Immanuel Quickley, the greatest player to ever touch a basketball. Now, if New York is truly dead, the Knicks certainly didn't get the memo because they are showing more life right now than any time in the post-Linsanity Knicks era. I've been texting my close friends in New York, the subway street rats. They're going absolutely nuts right now about the Knicks and Quickley. Now, let me get into Quickley's backstory, and I will do it very fast. No, I'm not going to make any Quickley puns. Quickley went to Kentucky, but before that, he had your typical resume of anyone going to Kentucky. Born in Havre de Grace, Maryland, he was a 5-star recruit, ranked 25th in his class by ESPN and 19th by 24/7 Sports. He played for the John Carroll School and achieved every kid's dream of going to McDonald's. Being a McDonald's All-American. Every kid's dream. At Kentucky for the 2018-2019 season, his freshman year, he was eased in, starting just 7 out of a possible 37 games, and putting up 5.2 points, 1.2 assists, and 1.8 boards in just 18.5 minutes. His sophomore year is where he earned his money, where he made his bread, where he fucking did shit his sophomore year. Despite coming off the bench the first several games, he went on to become the SEC Player of the Year, putting up 16.1 points per game and 4.2 boards, and greatly improving in several areas, including three-point shooting, going from just 34.5 as a freshman to 42.8% from 3 as a sophomore, and taking his already solid free throw percentage of 82.8% as a frosh to 92.3% as a sophomore. And despite all the accolades, all the praises, all the improvement, he was still getting no love on the NBA mock draft scene. Most mocks I had him going middle to late second round. But the Knicks, as they often do, usually for the worst of their franchise, ignore the conventional wisdom, and after he was selected by the Thunder 25th overall, was immediately and hastily traded to the Knicks. Now, most were pretty confused by this pick, being that Quickley was projected to go later in the second round, but not those that know Quickley's game. His coach at Kentucky, Jan Calipari, in a video message that was for some reason sponsored by Pop John's, was ecstatic with the pick and said that the Knicks got something there. Which I guess, that's what you're supposed to say. What do you think he's going to say? What is he supposed to say? Yeah, this kid blows. He's awful. He's got no talent whatsoever and a terrible attitude. And while we're on the subject, I'm an awful coach. Neither of us should have a job. We're both shitty. I'm just having some fun, just joshing. I'm sure it's tremendous praise when a coach says that. And of course, in 2020, any move made by the Knicks is going to be shit on because it's the Knicks. It seems like a safe bet. But Coach Calipari has Quickley's back, and so do New York Knicks fans around the globe, who were chomping at the bit to see him play. The aura around training camp for the Knicks this year was a little different. That had to do with a few things: a new coach, a new GM, some promising young players, and the fact being that the Knicks weren't selected to play in the bubble due to a poor record last year meant that fans hadn't seen the Knicks in almost 9 months and had completely forgot the living hell that Knicks basketball had put them all through. As far as Quickley goes, he didn't play at all in the first scrimmage, played 9 minutes in the second, played 25 in the third, and by the fourth scrimmage, Coach Tibbs sent out the signal for all of New York to see. Bane of New York Knicks fans' existence, Elfrid Payton would not be starting, he would be sitting, and Immanuel Quickley would be giving the starting nod. Quickley took this opportunity and ran with it, putting up 22 points with 5 assists, just 1 rebound, but also 5 steals in 29 minutes of play, in a game that was just a really overall rout of the Cleveland Cavaliers in the last preseason game. Now, the question on everyone's mind is, are Knicks fans looking too much into this game? The answer, Of fucking course they are. It's a preseason game against the Cavaliers, and Drummond didn't even play. Really, nobody played. So many people sat out this game. But I will say, the Knicks fans, they've basically been wandering through the desert for 20 years without any water. And when they think they see something in the distance that resembles some hope and promise, they're going to follow it no matter what it yields. But it is way too soon to say he's the next Michael Jordan. I mean, he still has room to regress. He could have a bad game and stoop down to Jordan's level. You never know. But there is still reason, plenty of reason to be optimistic. This man, based on his play, is a walking bucket. You can tell his passion for the game based on how hard he played. Surprisingly, due to his role in college, his on and off ball skills seem to have transferred to the next level. His ability to stretch the floor and be quick will make him an efficient playmaker, as he can draw defenders in and find the open man. He's got an unconventional shot. It's got a somewhat slow release point, but when he shoots it, it does seem to go in, and at a high level, by the way. Something that is desperately needed on the Knicks, as they had the fourth lowest three-point percentage in the league last year. His confidence, his dribbling, his handles, his playmaking ability, his style is why Knicks fans are so excited. On defense, he is an above-average defender. He is a lockdown defender that will only improve as he gets stronger. He's a very solid defender, and with his reach and wingspan, he had 5 steals in the game against the Cavs. Look for that to continue if he gets minutes at the next level. One thing he does need to improve on is his scoring at the rim. Sadly, the Knicks won't play the Cavs every single game, but still, Quickley does deserve credit. Rookies this year playing well deserve all the credit in the world due to the limited training camp they had. They basically didn't have an offseason. Just, hey, get out there, kid, make your money. As far as minutes go, he will have to beat out a murderer's row of guards, including Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina, and Elfrid Payton. That was a joke. But based on recent comments made by Thibodeau, it seems like he's noticed Quickley, noticed his game, and pretty much that minutes will be indicative of performance. If players can do it in practice as well as games, they are going to play. Tibbs is a pretty smart guy, he's a pretty good coach, and if Quickley is the real deal, I think he's just going to get minutes. You know what you're going to get with Elfrid Payton. Frustrating, boring basketball. With Quickley, you could potentially be getting a sharpshooting, versatile guard who can play both on and off the ball, and play well defensively. I mean, Quickley is the play of the future. You really have nothing to lose at this point. The Knicks aren't supposed to be contending for... I don't know when the Knicks are going to contend. It's not going to be in the immediate future. May as well get Quickley some reps, get him some minutes, get him some game time. It makes all the sense in the world to do so if he is indeed a good player. Right now, Quickley has the weight of the New York basketball world on his shoulder, alongside fellow rookie Obi Toppin and other young players. There is still a lot of basketball to be played, and I hope Quickley rages into the night rather than fades away into the night like former Knicks great Alonzo Trier. Having said all this, there is plenty of reasons to be optimistic for being a New York Knicks fans. A lot of good young players, seems like you got a good front office, some good coaching finally. The Knicks are going to be watchable this year. I will guarantee it. Watch the Knicks, because they're playing like they got nothing to lose. I mean, sure, you have all the pressure of the New York basketball world on your shoulder, but nobody expects anything from you. Just go out there, play as hard as you can, play well, or at least try to play well, and you're going to get praised for it. Turning the New York Knicks around will be a monumental achievement. Somebody's got to do it. Why not these Knicks? Not this year's Knicks. I'm talking about this group of guys several years down the road, building and working towards something. Alright, thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like. Check out the website, and that is it. Thank you so much.